Donald Trump has a religious advisor. If you can recall, her name is Paula White, and she is one of these people who has gotten incredibly wealthy through the prosperity gospel. She essentially lies to a bunch of people and scams them into giving her a lot of money. And 2018 is no exception. She is now pushing for something known as first fruits, which sounds really weird.
That's what Roy Moore wanted.
But we'll explain what it is. I'm trying not to, let's not go off the rails here, okay? Let's talk about what first fruits really are. So Paula White is urging her followers to donate a first fruits offering of up to their entire salary for the month of January to enjoy blessings for the rest of the year or suffer the consequences of failing to follow God's command. So here's what she told her parishioners. Each January, I put God first and honor him with the first of our substance by sowing a first fruits offering of 1 month's pay. That is a big sacrifice, but it is a seed for the harvest I am believing for in the coming year. And God always provides. What?
You better provide after you've given up a 1/12 of your salary.
The difference between, and so she also differentiates between those who tithe and those who contribute for the first fruit.
Also, it's January, right after the Christmas month, when everybody spent more than they could probably afford.
I mean, wow. Okay, so the difference between tithe, this is her speaking. The difference between tithe and first fruit is all of it. All of what? Well, if you want to bring God all of 1 day's salary, 1 week's salary, or 1 month's salary, that's between you and God. I try to bring a month's salary, but at the very least, every year I give God a week's salary. Like, she's trying to convince people to give her a significant portion of their pay. And we're not talking about rich people. Like, she's not hanging out with the Koch brothers and asking for maybe $1,000 at the beginning of the, no, she's like, these parishioners are not wealthy people and she's totally taking advantage of them. She also says God claims the first of all things, it rightfully belongs to him. So why are you telling your parishioners to give you money? Because you're not God. I know you think of yourself as God. I mean, she is just openly taking advantage of them.
They should all get together and decide to give their first fruit to another church. Just say, all right, we'll do it. You're
I'm sure
right.
she'd love that because it goes to God either way.
Nah, she wouldn't love it. That's not, she's not after getting these other churches rich here.
Churches are tax exempt and as a result are supposed to be apolitical, but she is obviously political. She is in Donald Trump's camp and she's simultaneously scamming all these people out of money.
Yeah. See, I think we need to be aware of our biases. We're on the left. We're secular. Okay, so it's easy to look at the prosperity gospel churches and say this stuff is just a scam, it doesn't actually work, and yet you've covered a lot of these prosperity gospel people. The people who run these, a lot of them have private jets. Obviously it's working.
This is
How do you argue with the results, Sana?
And look, I know that there are some members of the audience who think, well, if these people are not smart enough to avoid getting scammed, then they're getting scammed, that's on them. But you gotta remember, religion for a lot of people is something that they turn to when they need hope. And to know that they get exploited like this, we should do what we can to help them, not criticize them or ridicule them or insult them. Like my mom, she doesn't believe in prosperity preaching or anything like that, but religion for her is hope. It's that faith kind of keeps her going. And in her darkest times, that's what comforts her. And I think a lot of religious people believe what they believe because of that. And I feel terrible for anyone who falls victim to Paula White and her scammy ways.
Yeah. And also, especially not to go over, but because it subverts or co-opts like a good impulse where some of humanity, not enough, but some wants to help people and to give, let's say with tithing, to give 10% of your earnings to try to make people's lives better would be a good thing. But if it's instead going to a church, and if it's a church that doesn't actually use it for the community, if it's just for the enrichment of the religious leader, then that's even worse, because it doesn't just deprive people of their money, it deprives people who need that money as charity from ever getting it.
Right.
I mean, you could be a total atheist and doing something like tithing, going to an organization that deserves it. That would be a great thing.
Right.
But these are sharks, basically.
Right. It's money that goes towards someone who wants to live a lavish lifestyle and do nothing positive or productive for humanity, and that's terrible.
What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.